There we go. Break that way. Don't want it to break. Push that door shut. Ava Rose, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, that's right in the middle of the frame. Sorry about that. We'll move that down. I just got to figure out a better orientation here. 1 minute. I'll move this thing down a bit. I want this in the frame because I want to ring some stuff out. Also, mods. Yeah, it's a members only chat. That's right. Got to reward the members. Got to reward the members. She's a member anyways, actually. So that's not an issue. Got a bunch of stuff to do today. Start with these hides that I put in fat liquor overnight. Different pieces of leather here. Looks like we're a little bit frozen. We got frozen status. Maybe too many people are going live right now. Happy MLK Day, everybody. Yeah, it's a little bit slow on my end, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of excited. I got this. It's kind of in the middle here, pretty cold, so I can keep my sweatshirt on. This is a new piece of combination tan buckskin that I made. I'm excited about this piece here. I just took it out of the bark tannins, and it's been in fat liquor all night, brain emulsion. So excited about this. I'm gonna wring it out and kind of show it to the camera. And then we got woodwork to do. We got to work on a. Hopefully you're not frozen. On my end, it looked frozen here. Just a little bit on the slow side here. I don't know what's going on with that. But this is a piece of combination tan. This is a deer hide right here that I did with the combination of bark and brain tanning. And I'm finishing this one up now. Well, finishing is kind of a loose process because I put all of my leather back in. Whenever I make a fat liquor, I put all the leather back in it, whatever it is in the drying process, to try to condition it more, because that makes the leather stronger, makes the leather more supple. This is buckskin, so it's had the grain removed from it. It's got the texture kind of suede, but it's not there yet. It's still wet, so it has to be. I think it's gonna be like a really dark burnt orange color when it dries, kind of what you see when you squeeze it out. It's okay if it says you can't stay for long. That's all right. That's fine. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. It is a members only chat today. You feel free to hang out and watch. I just wanted to make sure that my members have a perk for being members today. If you do want to become a member, of course, you can always go down there, tap that little $sign. And if you are a member, I thank you. I thank you for your continued support of the channel. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Hope everybody's having a nice, peaceful, restful one today. sure some people are probably working on their taxes. Right. Interesting that it slows the numbers to do members only chat, but usually I only have a certain amount of people in the chat anyway, right? I guess the option to chat is a thing, you know, having that option, but you know, hey, take care, yeah, take care, Ava. If you have to go, I understand. It's not a problem, you know. People come, people go, people hang out if they can. You know, I understand that. I understand. What I'm doing now is just kind of running this across this beam here because this is part of this drying process. It's breaking this thing. It's going to be real tough because I left it in tannins a long time. I wanted to get a deep tan on this. It was in there with the grain on for a minute. So yeah, still super early. Super early. That's right. This I said a minute ago, but if you're new here, if you just came in, this is a piece of combination tan, buckskin. Basically, this is a deer skin that the grain's been removed from. So there's no, to tell you what the grain is, let me show you this hide here so you can tell. That's the grain right there. You see, it's kind of a sheer skin-like membrane there. So you see grain on, this is grain off, right? And so this finished piece is also, it's not really finished. I'm still putting it through because it's getting real rigid through the drying process. So I'm fat liquoring everything I get. I fat liquor it overnight when I make that. So it absorbs these oils and becomes a little more supple. It's still gonna be structural, but becomes a little more supple. Let me throw this out in the air real quick before I go on. A little while ago, I was in a friend of mine's live stream, and I may have said some things that were a little insensitive and seemed mean spirited. I want to apologize for saying that. So if you're out there, Pilato, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And certainly, you know, you've been a great friend here. So apologize for that stuff, man. I am a little bit of a firecracker, man. I always have been. Um, Firebrand, always kind of a shit starter a little. So, you know, it is Calvin being Calvin. And I think, you know, you've had your share of jokes too, but I'll apologize for anything I have done ever to offend you. He is a valued member of my channel, Pilato, so I don't want to hurt anyone. That's not my goal. Couldn't hear him though. Does my mic work right now? I want to make sure my mic works and that I sound clear right now because I'm not going to bait people by not being heard. All right. So that's grain on, and you can see it has that pebble. That pebble feature is because it's been stretched in different ways and it was kind of tanned quicker. I think it has to do with the pecans too. They put that pebble texture in the leather also, but it's generally a sign that the leather's been worked pretty vigorously or fast. Fast is relative for home tanning though. So this is the buckskin. That is a deer skin that's been the grain on. This one they're all in a fat liquor, and I'm wringing them out and running them across the beam, right? Because this drying process, you want to be slow and you want to give them, keep re-moisturizing them, keep putting more fats into the skin, into the leather until it's completely done so that when you unroll it or when you put it in a roll and you unroll it, it's the texture you want it to be when it's turned into the final product. I'm starting to think that maybe this buckskin is the direction I want to go because grain is hard to keep on an animal. Depending on how you go through your processes before you tan, you lose grain or it becomes damaged and then the leather becomes useless basically. I avoid putting anything or mine into rolls. What's up, Mike? Mike is making stuff. Welcome, valued member. Yeah, this is buckskin, combination buckskin right here that just came out of the tanning liquor, and now it's in a fat liquor. So you can see it has a matte like finish to it. It's still real thick though because I baited it well and I limed it well. Thicker than the grain on leather, see? And you can kind of see the difference. Color also, this was oak tan and this was tan in mostly, well, it was acorns and then also pecans, mimosa, and things like that that have a more of a chestnut brown color. I also put this into oak at the end, but it was already, the dye had been cast at that point, I think. And then I have my other hides, right? So everything goes in my fat liquor when I make fat liquor. So if I make a fat liquor, everything's going in there. Everything's getting brought out here, put over the beam, run over the beam. And then I'm going to put it back in this fat liquor, let it sit overnight tonight, do the same thing tomorrow. And then I will hang them up and roll them out and dry them and see how soft they are. Try to keep them moist during the drying process and keep adding more fats to them to make sure that they stay soft, as supple as possible. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. All right, so here is the raccoon hide. You may be familiar with this one. Took this out of the roll, put it back into the fat liquor last night, and then worked it. Now this was really stiff when I put it back in fat liquor last night, so it is now soft enough to, I think, hopefully when I roll it up this time, it will be able to be unrolled better because I really worked it last night. But I'll work it against the end of the beam so that I can soften it up a bit. Welcome, members. This is a members only chat, I believe. So just want to show my members some love. Appreciate you being members. Without my members, I don't think I would have a channel. So we have this ability to run this chat members only, and I do that. I used to do it a lot more, to be quite honest. The whole world is going live. Yeah, members and mods. So if you're a mod or you're a member, you can be in the chat. This is the squirrel, same thing, really, really tough. Though it's a really nice leather texture. I wanted to put it back in fat liquor. I broke it. I don't even think I need to break. I do this one. This one's easy. You do it by hand. This is all you got to do. And then roll it from the corners, right? Do this and roll it from the corners. Also, I have said it, and I stick to my answer. The fat liquor is really kind of nice for your hands. Like it really moisturizes your hands. That was not good right there. Schmutz all over it. Cool thing about tan, you can always kind of go backwards. I even put the strings that I hold the rolls in there. So why not, right? I only have so much deer brain, so that's the raccoon. We kind of work that. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time to do this today. I have a bunch of stuff in tannings. I learned to sew some leather yesterday, so I have some leather work I'm going to do on the channel too. We're gonna make an apron pretty soon. Nice leather one from scratch, and you know, that kind of thing. Here we got Carrie. Welcome, Carrie. Member Carrie, shout out. Double tap that like that screen to like this video, folks. That's how YouTube knows where you like to be. Take this. This is buckskin here. We ran this over the beam, just kind of rudimentarily. Is that a word? In a rudimentary way. It's kind of just a basic rubbing against the beam. Hey, thanks for the party hat, Carrie. Very nice of you. Thank you. Yeah, more coffee. The coffee pitcher's empty, so you'll have to make a pot, Heather, so we can both have some coffee, as Heather says, coffee. So this is combination tan buckskin. Before I put it away, if you just came in, I love the color. It's like a right now it's a dark red, but I think what it's going to dry to is like a burnt orange, uh, real nice thick texture. I think the pre tanning stages I went to because someone told me that leather is made in the beam house, right? So that means what you do before you tan the leather is most important. I think this is looking nice, man. And as it dries, even with those little scrapes, they're just personality. I might turn everything I got. Hey, Carrie's been a member for 5 months. We appreciate Carrie. Do become a member if you're here now. But if you're not, subscribe to the channel too. We don't do members only streams every day, but we try to appreciate our members by running a members only chat, now and then. And it's a special day today. Thank you so much for being here. This is Dad's Workshop. This is a beautiful piece of combination tan buckskin. That means I tanned it with oak. I removed the grain from it. That's what you see here. That's the grain. That's not the same piece. These are two different pieces, obviously. See how the grain came off here? So it's tricky to keep on. So I figure, oh, thank you, Carrie. Carrie sent us a $10 super chat for the coffee. Probably got to get my little drum out and do a little drum roll. Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you. Little, give him a little drum roll, backstage drum roll. I found my dowel rods. Oh, there's one. There's two. Drum roll for Carrie's $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Carrie. That's what keeps us going. And you can probably hear me here. Carrie Fresco with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Carrie. Do I need to put the drum on camera? I'm afraid I get the drum wet with this leather stuff. Thank you, Carrie. Longtime member, friend of the program, Carrie. Thank you so much. Thanks, Carrie. Hey, if you're just here right now, we're working on leather that's been sitting in fat liquor. That's one word, apparently. Overnight. Let me know if my sound doesn't work well or if you can't hear me or for some reason something I'm doing is irritating you. You have the option to leave too, but you can also just drop it in the chat if you remember that you can't hear me, can't see me, or I'm mumbling or something like that. Let me know so we communicate. We all know what's going on. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you for that super chat. So this is combination buckskin. It's been tanned with oak also. I got my fingers crossed on this because there's no promises it's going to end up well, but it sure looks good right now. Smells good, looks good. It's got brain egg oil emulsion on it right now because it's in the drying process. I've pulled it from the tannins now. I think it's got a beautiful texture. It's going to come out super nice. And if it needs it, I will oil it and make it waterproof. I don't need that grain on there, I don't think. I'm starting to think that making buckskin out of every hide is the easiest. Ooh, I can see my fingerprints in there. That's how soft it is. It's getting in there. All right, where's my slicker? Because I don't want that to happen. Oh, it's right here. So to prevent that, like if my little fingerprints are going in there, what we do is we put the leather on the beam or whatever. This is not really beam. It's kind of a little beam for TV. My other beam is out in the garage right now. Take the slicker, you go over the leather. Like this is probably what you should do even with this process, just basically, right? So if you have a lathe, which I think a number of channels do, I'm aware that some people have lathe. Mike said, my childish self, I hear fat liquor and can't even stop snickering. It is called fat liquor. That is exact. I believe it is one word, fat liquor. It is, you can do it with egg yolks, but it's traditionally made with brains and an egg yolk and neat's foot oil, which mostly comes from cows, but I've extracted it from other hooved animals before. so you don't have to go to the slaughterhouse process. You can probably, what I did was I took the feet and ankles of deer and I poured hot water on them. That clear stuff that beads up at the top, you can skim that off. Hey, everybody's in here. Let me make one more. Here goes. Because I didn't have enough people when I did it before. Let me do this again. Pilato, I'm sorry. I did not mean to hurt your feelings. If you're in the house, man, make yourself known. It's okay. I don't need to be a mod. I deserve the hand slap. I'm sorry if I said something that hurts your feelings, man. I really am. Appreciate you, Pilato. I'm so sorry. Come back. We want you in the house. I like it when you joke around with us. I didn't mean any harm. You know, I get carried away. And I'm sorry about that. Oh, he's still alive. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that, buddy. All right. That may be the last one, though. I'm not going to do it anymore. I do got to keep being me. And so you just work it and you put it back in the fat liquor again. It's not rocket science. It's just hard manual labor. By the way, I do have a long form video out that I just put out about my process. Heather, can you drop that link? Last time we had over 100,000 people on my channel, and I think 5 people watched the video. We had 100,000 people in the live stream. So members, if you're here, please check out my video. I do have a new video. I'm about to make it members only, though. If the public doesn't appreciate it, I'll just give it to my members. You know, it took some effort by Heather and I had to ask a guy permission to use his music and all that. So, you know, we do a sophisticated video. I want to give it to the right people. But check that out, please. Check that out, please. I got a long form video. It's called, what is it? What I Learned in 3 months of hide tanning. Traditional hide tanning is what it's called. So check that out. Check that out. Please do. It's no little thing to make a long form video, making me think. Like every time I do it, I say never again. I'm not doing that again. Thank you, Carrie. I did notice the height points. Thank you, Carrie. Indispensable, Carrie. Appreciate you. Needed that. Maybe they would do something with the height. Like besides, I saw the number of impressions that YouTube's giving my video and the statistics, the impressions click-through rate, CTR, is high. So that means they're not showing it to enough people. That's what it is. It's not being shown to enough people, because if it's getting clicked on that amount and it's only got that number of views, you've only shown it, and they've shown how many people they've showed it to. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. Last check, the CTR was good. So, you know, they told me I need to tell a story and all that stuff. You know, that's what I'm trying to do. Or I could just stay doing lives and begging people for money all the time. Try not to do that for the rest of my life. You know, trying to actually be self-sufficient here, make content. But sometimes it do feel like you're pissing in the wind, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. It do feel like that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is a members only chat. Members and mods, appreciate you being here. Dad's Workshop. Shout out to all the Dad's Workshop mods and members. We got about 42 members right now. We got 17 renewers, about to be 16, but 17 renewers at the moment. But that happens, man. You can't stay friends with everybody. Make new friends and keep the old. Just do the best you can. You know, that's all you can. Can't do. That's what I'm going to do. I told you all that before. I can only be me. I can only be me. If you don't, if you're not gonna say something nice, don't say anything at all. That's me right now. I'm not gonna. Whoops. I'm not gonna say anything nice. But thank you for everybody for being here. There is a nice thing to say. Thank you, everybody. Feel blessed to be here. This is Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Happy for another beautiful day. Happy I'm existing on this day. Got my workout in this morning. Not mad at anybody. Getting my sleep, my 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Not trying to burn the midnight oil or burn the candle at both ends or scramble around or muffle myself so that I can't really be heard. Sometimes I need a gas mask out here. Actually, not really. That was kind of a dig, if I'm being honest. Thanks everybody for all those likes and stuff. I'm sure I'm gonna get a few dislikes, and that's all right because you know, it is what it is. Now y'all ready for some woodwork? Let's do some woodwork at Dad's Workshop. All right, so we those are all hides that are in fat liquor. That's a brain emulsion combination. Brains and egg yolks and olive oil, and I put some patchouli in there too. Makes it smell nice. Makes it smell nice and good. Makes it smell nice and good. Let's move this camera here. I'm going to sharpen a little bit. Just a little bit here because out. That's not enough. Hopefully that's enough. You here? All right. I dressed my stone too, so there we go. Sometimes you just make stuff and it's on another level and people just can't understand it, man. You know, it's just beyond their head. Just can't get in. They can't get in that headspace. If somebody wants to eat a Big Mac, man, you know, giving them a filet mignon, they're not gonna understand a filet, you know, and a crab cake from a nice restaurant or something like that. They're just gonna want that Big Mac, and I like a Big Mac too, you know. But you can't feed somebody a filet that wants a Big Mac, man. You can't feed somebody a filet who wants to go to cookout, you know. They're just gonna go to cookout. It's gonna be what they do. How to make $600 off of two 2x4s. That doesn't seem like storytelling to me. That's more like clickbait. If I'm not hitting the stand with that, just making sure I'm dressed here. I'm ready. Dan, Woodshed by Dan. You got to check out my long form video, Dan. Thanks for being here, member, long time member, Dan. Dan, friend of the program. Man, when the numbers be good, they'd be good. All right, if you're a member, send your address to Dad's Workshop, Calvin@yahoo.com. I've got gifts I would like to send out to members. I have like some Dad's Workshop keychains and basic stuff, but it's not stuff you don't want to get. Like I'm gonna make sure you get something nice. I got some scraps of leather that you might be able to use in your projects and just stuff. Email me, Dad's Workshop Calvin@yahoo.com. There's stuff around here. And we have gifts like soaps and things like that. I'd like to send gifts out, but you got to email me. If you're a member here, make sure you email me, Dad's Workshop Calvin@yahoo.com. And let's get you some gifts for being members. I still have that cherry box. And then I told Wes I would send him a hawk. So I've got that in the works. And I would like to send Mike something. Now, Mike has never gotten anything from the channel. So if you're a member, please do drop your. We might have Mike's address. Mike, you can send that on Discord too. I want to make sure that I reward my members with some packages, like some care packages up in the mail. This is the piece of deer foot right here that I use as my little strop. I don't like the way that feels. Like I do this a lot by feel. A lot of people know this. Like if I don't feel like it's gripping the whole way, and I re-edged some of these recently too. That's better. That's the way it should be. Heck yeah. And the strop. AI likes that. Sorry, guys. The new normal Calvin Care Pack soap and leather. Yeah. I like it when I do that. Yep. So sharp, I think. If it's not, we'll go back to sharpening again. This is the chisel that Ron sent me. I'm going to use this to make a handle for this. And I'll figure out how to do it. I'll round it back off again. This is too short. It's too short for this hatchet head. It doesn't have the right balance. So we're going to do it. I've got another one cut out. We're going to do. We're going to handle this with a piece of ash that I have over here. So like I said, fail on this one, right? Too short. It's just not right. If you put it up against my other hatchet, which looks rusty, but it's just because there's been salt water in here a lot, you can see it's longer and has less weight on the back of it. And this handle was longer than this one by a shot, right? Even though it's kind of in, this needs to be rehandled as well. So what I think is we measured that up. I made a new axe head right here. Let's. Oh dang! I should have even made this one longer, to be honest. So this one's out of ash, and I have some kerfs in there. We're gonna go and cut that thing out now. We're gonna chisel that out here. So this we'll use this piece of cherry. We won't throw that away. Yeah, we'll get some care packs out. Send Dad's Workshop Calvin at yahoo.com if you're a member. Let me send you something. I just put my hatchet up there and I need it because I don't have a hammer on hand here. It's my hammer, in-house hammer here. I just kind of learned how to sew yesterday. This is the truth. Like I never learned how to sew. Couldn't listen when people would try to teach me how to do it. So I learned how to sew, everybody. I'm gonna do leather work on here too. I'm gonna be like Ron on this thing, man. Using the whole skill tree. People think I'm playing out here, man. Like I'm on here to just mess with people and get attention. We're doing real stuff here at Dad's Workshop. All right, good. Let me get my readers on since I'm old. See, I called myself old too. Dad's Workshop, Calvin at yahoo.com. That's my email address. Please do email me if you are a member. If you are not, become a member. I still may respond to your email if you send me an email and you're not a member. Hey, Calvin, love the channel. Don't have the money to be a member right now, but just wanted to say, love the channel. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks, Robert from New Hampshire. I made that guy up. Y'all couldn't even tell. You thought it was a real person, didn't you? Didn't you? See, I'm a joker, man. I can't help it. I'm in that. I'm a Dionysian person, man. I'm not an Apollonian person. I think entertainment lends itself to Dionysian personalities. Maybe I'm just trying to rationalize being kind of a butthole earlier. Sorry about that. That can happen too. I'm gonna turn this around. I don't like the way I'm going against that grain there. I prefer to come from this angle. Got other chisels too. That one doesn't feel awesome. Oh yeah. What I am absolutely missing something here, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, you know me best for this. You know what I do. It's called the old stop cut. Hit him with a stop cut. Gotta have a stop cut right here. We don't want to blow out the mallet. This is probably better with a small chisel because of the curves. Above the line, if you're going to miss above. Don't miss below. Midnight Toker, that's a song. Doesn't mean I'm not ad suitable. Ad suitable. Silliness. Where's my other mallet? Prefer that one here. Some might say it feels theatrical. Some might say I know what the hell I'm doing, you know, but some may. Some may say all kinds of things. It's okay if it's theatrical. I am a bit theatrical. I am theatrical. I'll admit that. It's good theater, though, man. What Shakespeare say? All the world is a stage. We are but merely players. Shakespeare with camo. That's me. What is Mike talking about? Oh, I hope so, man. I hope you passed your funk. I'm about to get into my funk. What's it like in there? I would be lying if I told you I'm super overwhelmed with how sharp this chisel is. I probably should have sharpened it for a little longer. I probably got something sharper over there on the rack. Boom. Let me get down to the bottom of the chat. Yeah, man, we're here for you, man. You know, I'm here. You know, I message you. I'm not gonna harp on it. Let's do this here. Not to get on the couch, but I was mourning it. Then it happened like it did, and I had to bash the bottle against the hull and put it to sea, let it sail. Yeah, got to christen it, man. I don't like this chisel, man. Now, ash is a hard wood, but that just doesn't feel right. This rusty piece of thing might be the best option here. Some of my chisels have been sitting out here when I've been doing animal work, and in that saltwater, briny environment, they even in the air, like it just rusted my tools badly. I know I got a couple really good, dependable owls. Keep a couple super sharp ones. I just got to pick through them until I find them. You know, I'm very picky about that sharpness. Let me see here. Good strop. Let's give it a strop. Stop and strop is what we're doing right now. Carrie said, I got to go pick up my new glasses at Costco. Pray nothing jumps out and makes me purchase it. He he he. You're going to Costco. You know how it is. There's stuff jumping out everywhere. We're all here for each other. Y'all help me through my funk, and I'm sure I'll have more. We're here for you, Woodshed. Appreciate you, man. Dan. Carrie says, besides the staples like toilet paper and paper towels, like you need that stuff. You can stock up on that. Heather said, LOL, hope you don't see those delicious, huge candies. Safe travels and hope the glasses look awesome. Mike said, I'm working on a new design. I need to make a flip up coffee table, but I'm working out how to get the flip both ways toward the sofa or away from it. Probably some sort of a like cantilever, maybe that turns. That'd be an idea you could use for that. But um, that's kind of problem that you like to solve, man. Make you look like an inventor, you know. I feel like my brakes are off down here. And that's the problem. Everything on casters in here. I got one brake off on the other side too. All right, I did like shaving this down from the other side. Let's go back to the other side. Sorry, microphone. Traditionally, what I say when I accidentally hit the microphone. I really like working with cherry a lot better than this, but it's okay. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. It is members only chat today, but we don't do that every day. And we'd love to have you as a subscriber, even if you're not a member. Do subscribe to the channel because we do most of the time have subscriber only chat. Yeah, we don't like the riffraff. Sorry, riffraff. If you want to talk about your the pustule or that you developed on your like body and dark places of your body, you're gonna have to do that on a different live stream. I will argue this, and I want to make myself super clear because I have to be willing to take a hit in criticism when I say stuff like this. I have found that a lot of people who are experts on stuff, um, I find out later, after the smack and all of that is talk that you don't know, the difference between this wood and that wood. And that's kind of part of being a woodworker, man. Like part of being a woodworker, if you're turning wood, if you're doing any kind of wood, sawyer, it doesn't matter. The whole tree, you have to know what you're working with, man. It does not make sense to trounce around and like pretend that you know what you're doing, but you don't even know what the kind of wood is that you're working with. How do you know what tools to use? How do you know what its racking strength is? How do you know what its tensile strength is? You don't, right? But yeah, we got all these people, and I'm good at this. I do this, and they're criticizing others. But if you're a woodworker, man, get you a book on wood. You need to know about different trees, or go online and read about the different trees that are in your area. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert on what you call it, leather. Just learning that craft. But I'll tell you, I have worked a lot of wood, man, and I've taken a lot of criticism on here from a lot of people. Then I find out you don't know the difference between pine and other stuff, kind of stuff like that, man. It just kind of blows my mind sometimes. At the same time, not because the whole world wants you to feel inferior, in a lot of ways. I don't want to sound cynical. It's not a cynical view. It's just like the way climbing works. Climbing works like people make you feel lower to get above you on this ladder, this perceived ladder. Some cases it's fully perceived. It's not a real thing at all. Well, yeah, and I get that, man. That's don't lie. But the pallets are usually made out of a couple different kinds of wood. It depends on the region that they come from. But the pallets are made of poplar, and they're made of different conifer species. White pine, like Virginia pine and things like that. And then they're made of, if they come from up in the Pacific Northwest, they're made of Douglas fir. And sometimes even down here, they don't really use Southern yellow pine for that. It's kind of expensive, but you will find little bits of it sometimes. Red pine from up in the Northeast. And also, I believe there's some groves in like northern Minnesota and stuff. Domestic wood is a little cheaper than getting it from overseas, but yeah, we also order spruce and stuff like that from Scandinavia, and that comes over in a large amounts. That'll probably change soon. Um, every tree is its own tree, but like say I'm making a handle like this, and I don't know that that you need hard wood for this handle, like you need a hickory or you need an ash or you need a cherry, and I just make this handle out of pine. I just pissed in the wind because what I did was probably put myself in a situation that's unsafe because I made myself a handle out of something like say I just used a piece of pine, and I've got a couple handles in here that have snapped. Not for me. Hardwood on your handles, man. Someone asked me this the other day. Can you use pine? No. Yeah, sweet gum. They don't like to use that here really because it doesn't. It moves. Sweet gum never stabilizes. The grain's too tight, and it never even after it dries to like ambient humidity, right? So you've got your wood at 10% or whatever. Even then, fluctuations in the outside humidity, sweet gum moves incredibly like a lot. Like it's similar to pecan in that way. Pecan wood. And pecan is similar to hickory, but you're not the actual pecan wood that's a fruiting tree moves a lot like sweet gum. Sweet gum though is very very tight grain, so and that's part of it. It's so interlocked that when the moisture in the air shifts and it takes in any kind of changes, the whole structure moves. So you have bowing and curving. They used to use it as paneling on in dining cars, on trains, things like that. Because you can ply it, like it works and they what they used was red gum too. So they used sweet gum, but it was 100+ year old species of it. So you have a tree like Dan was not Dan was saying. Yeah, Dan was saying that that each species, each tree is different. Yes. So an old gum tree, an old sweet gum tree, referred to as red gum, if it's over 100 years old, has a lot of heartwood, and it's red, and that's more stable. If you can get that wood, which there's not that many over 100-year-old sweet gum trees or any kind of tree here, that wood is good and stable. It's more stable than the other stuff, and that would be what they used in railroad dining car paneling, decorative woodwork in the dining cars. But if you're looking at a sweet gum tree, sweet gum trees can grow up into a tree that has this circumference in like 5 years. They grow super, super fast. Walnut is one of the woods that moves the least when it gets down to the right humidity, right? When it gets down to the right moisture content, walnut does not move hardly at all. That's why people like it. It's kind of a perfect balance of grain and beauty and stability. That's why it was used for so long, such a desirable wood, right? But walnut, when it's young, you may not know this. Since it's my show, we'll talk about it. But when walnut is young, it has lots of white sapwood. And I don't have any examples of walnut with white sapwood on it, but I do have an example of a small walnut slab with no sapwood, or barely any, because it came from an old growth tree. And it's dusty, so you have to pardon that. But a mature, and this is actually matchbooked, so this was only half of the slab. This is a piece of walnut that has, you see, no sapwood on it, really. Tiny, tiny bit of sapwood. The slab was about this wide, so the tree was about, I don't know, 30 inches in diameter or so. But there's no sapwood on here really, and that means it's stable. But a young black walnut tree will have a lot of sapwood. It'll be white on the outside, like cream colored white. And that is not very good wood. 15 or so years ago, I cut down a tree, a black walnut tree, and I used it for furniture, and the furniture didn't turn out very good because there was too much sapwood. Yeah. That slab is the last of, I had 12-foot boards of it, or 12 to 15-foot tall boards of it. But I got that wood over 10 years ago. I've had that wood for I made a trestle table out of it at least a dozen years ago or so. And it's been sitting in my folks' house for a long time. I've had offers on it too, man. I won't sell it. Not for that. That means I joined a table with it with no hardware. It has a little black walnut trestle that runs through the bottom of it and has pins on each side that I made out of box elder, flame box elder. Yes, this is the axe handle for the hatchet that Ron sent. Great question. Segueing out of that, Wes. So my other handle didn't. This was the handle I first made, Wes. Too short, and I don't mean the rapper from Oakland. I mean it's too short, the handle. So I looked at my other axe and determined that it needed to be at least this much longer. So that's where I'm at now. And I think that's about right. And I oversized the top here so I can work it down. That's going to be about the right length. And then I can shape the handle ergonomically. I'm going to put a piece of leather on here and baseball stitch it on so that I have a leather handle, leather grip on there too. But it's going to be an expert hatchet because it has no weight on the back of it. All of the weight's on the front of this piece. So I'm gonna have to practice with it. But yeah, that's the handle there. And this is Ash. Oh, let me show you Wes's knife that he sent me. So this is the knife Wes sent me, beautiful knife. And I asked him what the, and I'm going to try to remember the two types of wood. This one's mimosa. And what was this one? Babinga? What was the species of this, Wes? See that knife? This was mimosa, which is really cool. I don't have anything made out of mimosa. Oh, I put the sheath on wrong. And then this is a special type of wood. Love this knife. Podock. It's an exotic. So now I think it's about shaving this thing down. Oak Ridge Taxidermy in the house. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. I think you had it right. Podock. P-A-U-D-A-D-A-U-K. Yeah, I got it. I read it the way that you meant it. Yeah, Oak Ridge. We're making Oak Ridge, I got this hatchet head from Homemade 1970, homemade by Ron up in Canada. And so I'm making an axe handle for it. It's made out of spring steel, and he forged it in his shop. So we're working on that right now. Thanks for being here. It's a members only chat. Of course, you can be here if you're not a member, but I would love to have you as a member. You know, that would be an awesome thing to get everybody, like all of you as members, have everybody as a member. You get a membership but that's not how it works. You got to support the channel. This is a strange way to be approaching this grain, but I'm not worried about it. It'll be all right. A little dry. I'm going to go from the other angle. Beautiful knife. Vice is in my way. Oh, I like that one. All of these little, if you collect these little shavings and you're smoking a hide, like these little crumblies, I've noticed, well, maybe not this big, these will burn. What you really need is like shavings from either from punk wood or your, what I saved was my planer bits. Those worked really well. The cherry ones, especially from the green cherry tree slabs, like this slab is green right here. Well, kind of not anymore, but the other one over there, still kind of green. It just got cut down, a year ago or something. So those little green. Do well in the Oh, that was a nice one. See that? That's what we love to do, man. Makes it fun. Just easing it. Don't let the tool do the work. That's what people always tell me. Let the tool do the work. Right? I learned how to sew yesterday, kind of a little bit. I was doing a saddle stitch, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm learning this skill tree, man. There's a lot of skills." What I was sewing was a leather pouch. So I'm gonna, like I said a few minutes ago, I'm actually gonna make a leather grip for this thing using a baseball stitch, and I just got to learn that baseball stitch, and I'll practice it inside. Then I'll do it out here. I'll take a piece of my own leather, put it around this handle, and baseball stitch it on, so that I have a nice, like ergonomic grip. So we rounded that off. Now I really need probably focus on this rounded off top here before I do the back side of this thing. So let me see what I got going on with the top of this hatchet head. it's tapered from top to bottom. So this side here is wider, and I guess that makes sense. You know, I've never forged anything before because you typically would put a wedge in there. So what I got to do is make it just barely, man, just barely wide enough to fit through, and then kind of not really. I don't want to say force it on because you know that's not the wording I want to use, but it's gonna have to get some pressure. Kind of wish I had like chalk right now. I feel like that would give me the best. Oh, there we go. I'm not even gonna try that. I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of do it by ear. Just hopefully not take off too much material. I tried it with a pencil the other day, and then I didn't feel good about the way it was coming out. This is kiln dried ash too, so it has like a kind of a crappy consistency. Not going to complain though about the wood because that should be the. Even though I just did that exact thing. Let me flip this thing around a little bit. Eclipse, welcome, welcome, welcome. Member Eclipse. I'm going to tilt this back towards me. It's one of these cool things about this vise that you can do. I think that might help me a bit. I want to approach this. I don't want to have to lean over to approach it. And I'm going to take it up a little bit here. I guess I like that better. Like I said that. Yeah, that's good. So I can lean down and use gravity. This is why I don't become a wood carver though, because wood carvers do this stuff towards themselves, and that just makes me nervous, man. I can't do that. Especially when they teach us to chisel away from ourselves, right? Secure the workpiece. Can't do that, right? Rule number one of woodworking. I get that carving is different because like that's why I can't do it. I'll cut my finger off. If you watch my long form video plug, the guy who did my music, John Specker, is a bit of an outdoorsman, and he carved for a long time, but he's a professional fiddler. So when he cut half of his finger off, he kind of stopped doing that. I was like, yeah, John, I can't carve, man. Carving was in me. We wouldn't agree very well. I whittled when I was in, when I was a kid with a pocket knife, but that was always away from myself. You know, thanks for that 69th like. If you are here and you do enjoy what you're watching, please do like. And next time will be probably just subscriber only chat. So make sure you subscribe because when we do subscriber only chat, you usually have to be subscribed for like a year. No, I'm just kidding. You got to be subscribed for a few minutes. Oh yeah, so I got a hold of this gentleman because he has a landline. That's how I got a hold of him, man. Pound the pavement, make phone calls. You know, pretty cool guy though. Super cool guy. I would almost gamble this guy was at Woodstock. Should I go into detail? Don't steal my musician. I'm gatekeeping. I'm gatekeeping John. He doesn't even have the internet. He has an internet presence, right? It's like over 1,500 Instagram followers, and people are like, oh, that's not that many. Yeah, it is for a guy who doesn't have the internet. Literally, the guy has a landline. That's it. I called. I called him. His wife picked up. said, John, there's a young man on the phone here and he wants to use your music and I think you should let him. Sorry, I had to do her voice. I knew then I had it, man. If the wife is telling him he needs to let me use it, so I was a shoe in at that point. Then we talked. I talked to John for an hour, and I got a lot of into his mind quite a bit, man. He's the real deal, dude. Lives in the mountains, and at the end of our conversation, he was like beating himself up about having to go turn on the toaster oven because he doesn't like to use electricity. Like that's that guy. Apparently, if you don't have Windows 7, you can use Jeffrey Epstein's passcode passkey, so you can get that much. No, but I don't think they're running any. He This is by choice. This man lives this way by choice. It's not a lack of resources. What is the motto for hippies? Drop out something something. Yeah, he followed that one, man. You know, um, you can't be a real hippie and live in a major metropolitan area. I don't think, and I mean a real hippie. Like there's a crossover there somewhere. That shape's not too bad there. Oh, it's gonna be the other way. I'd be like this. I remember this process being a little long, and I never got through it completely the other day, and I'm glad I didn't because the handle wasn't right anyway. You know. Shout out to everybody. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. What we're doing right now is making a hatchet handle for a hatchet I was gifted by Homemade 1970. That's Ron up there in Canada. Great channel. Shout out to Ron. He may be live. Everyone's live today because it's a holiday, and so a lot of workers are at home today. So it's an opportunity to go live, which I understand completely. So shout out to Ron. Appreciate Ron. And even though he may be live, he's also getting publicity here because we're making a handle for this thing and we're going to make sure it fits really, really well. And that's the goal here. And then a wedge, I'll probably use, I could use cherry as the wedge. Let's get to that. Let's cross that bridge when we get to it, of course. Poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. Well, in John's case, John grew up like in Queens. That's how these folks go, and then moved out to when I told him I was using his music for a video about tanning, he started asking questions about tanning sheep hides. Like that's where that conversation went. And then, of course, he's older than my dad. He went to school only to get out of the Vietnam War. Like that was the only reason he went to art school in Philadelphia, and that was just to get out of Vietnam. And then once he kind of got out of that, he like dropped out of art school and became a fiddler. Yep, that's right, man. Queens to a fiddler in the mountain. Also, Jay Unger, I believe, a great fiddler from Brooklyn or the Bronx. Great fiddler, man. Knows old time music really well. Sometimes these guys, they're cityfied. They're dudes. That's the old, the expression dude. That's where it comes from. They come from the city slickers, and then they learn the country life. Like they have us believing that we can't do anything. We have to buy their products. You know, does that ring true to anybody? We have to buy their products. Buy, and then go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work, so that you can buy our products more. And then you don't make your own products because you're busy making our products. too busy doing our work that's important for our money than to make things for yourself and for your family, right? If you get too busy caught up with their stuff, and then they can sell you their stuff too. Besides making you work for them, they also sell you their crap. You don't have time to make it. Of course, they've got that covered. They got a sweatshop overseas. They got a guy. So buy their stuff too. And then if you're at home and you're like just hanging out, they want you to also entertain yourself by watching their crap too. Yeah, yeah, I think I mean he's got a website, johnstucker.com. Like I said, he is not on the internet, but there is a website for him. Uh Pretty cool guy, and then was in a like a old time music combo, and they all just kind of he broke his fiddle or something, didn't have the money to get it replaced, so he worked as an apple picker for a number of years, I believe, up there in Vermont, and that's how he became familiar with Vermont. Maybe one of these days, John will get the internet and pop in one of these live streams. That is so unlikely. The likelihood of that is extremely slim. Extremely slim. The likelihood of him ever seeing the video I made with his music is slim. We're getting there. I don't want to rush and take too much off. That's a big chunk right there. Like I told you, I would be doing a better job. I mean, it's a taper from top to bottom. So unless I'm gonna put the handle in like upside down and the whole handle is gonna be this wide, it's just you have to like there's gonna have to be a wedge in there. I'll have to drill a hole through to stop it from splitting. There's gonna be a process of putting this on there. Uh, Somebody ask something? Okay. Uh, how close are we? Let's take a look. Hey, the cool thing about woodwork, it doesn't all have to be finished today. Did y'all know that? There's other days to finish stuff. Well, you never guaranteed anything. I always like to say that, but you're gonna have to gamble on that at some point and just hope that you live to see tomorrow to finish your woodwork, because doing it all in one day is not always the best way to do things. Do things the slow way, the right way, and make it all look good. Take your time on things. I'm like almost there with that. I think I need to take in these sides here a bit. Not too much because it's almost undersized right there. It's kind of what happened to me the last time. Didn't love that. Let me come from the other direction here. I might take that with a band, so I might resaw this a little bit here. That's what I'm doing. Hold on. I'm not gonna resaw it, but I'm gonna kerf this and then take just a tiny bit, so I can do this material a little easier here. All right, that should work. Sacrifice viewers with that bandsaw, but it's okay. So now you see I cut some kerf in there, and this is a little tricky. So I'm gonna have to figure an orientation where I can access this, but I don't really wanna. I might actually go perpendicular to the grain here and take it off that way and then sand or file it a little bit. What Dan say? That's right, Calvin. I have a ton of things unfinished because it need to be right. Well, I didn't say that now. You got to finish what you start. That's the tricky part. Get back out there the next day, right? That's the tricky part. And I know it's hard to finish things that we start. The other idea was to resaw it, basically rip direction, right? Through the bandsaw. And I'm not going to do that. This is probably, I have more control over this process. Pilato's in the house, dude. I'm sorry I called you old and said you were mumbling. Heart hands, man. You unmodded me, so it hurt my feelings too. You know, it got through. It cut deep. Let's come back together, man. Come together. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah, we're good. Some things have to stew in my mind too. As you can see, I'm quite a ruminator. I want to be careful about that bottom because I don't want to blow out the other side here. And I didn't make any cuts on the other side. So y'all notice I'm kind of stopping short of that, the end of this piece. And it may still happen because I'm being a little risky by doing it perpendicular like this. And I'm making real gentle mallet strokes here. You know what? It just occurred to me. I called him boring the other day too, man. It could have been strike 4, to be honest. Maybe I'm a habitual line stepper, bro. You know, maybe I never thought of myself like that, but maybe Pilato saw me as a habitual line stepper. What do y'all think? Am I a habitual line stepper? Such as the late great Rick James, according to Charlie Murphy. Maybe. He's like, first he calls me boring, and then he calls me old. That's what I was worried about right there, but I actually broke off all right. That's fine. Strike 4, mister. Everybody's like, I'm not going to say nothing, man. Nah, I'm not going to get in the middle of it. That's fine. Don't get in the middle of it. Ain't nothing to get in the middle of anyway. Stop making jokes while I'm busy being boring. Sorry, I had to. Ooh, it's getting there. You know, that's my favorite phrase. Getting there. Yeah, so a little bit off that. It's like the corners on these sides. Same thing. I'm glad I didn't take any more off though, because if it was too small there, we're just gonna pare a little bit more away there. Stop making jokes while I'm busy being boring. It's not funny. You know, I've had a few jokes made about me on here too, man. You know, some of them from that same trajectory. Nobody called me boring, though. That's true. They could have called me old. I am a little old. And if I am not audible, please do tell me. If I can't be heard, like incoherent means you can't understand. And I said incoherent because I couldn't understand because it sounded like blah, 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 blah. This is what it sounded like. That's literally what it sounded like. Trying to help somebody out, man. Check the tape. It's not being I wasn't being smart about it. Well, maybe I was a little bit. What can I do? Yeah, this is gonna work. This approach, I think. It's already wanting to sit on there. So we're going to pair that thing sharp and almost caught me in the finger right there. This is the right way, right? Yeah. Yep. We're gonna keep going. Nah, but for real, I'm sorry. And I'm angry at the same time. Can you be sorry and be angry at the same time? Like if he doesn't like me anymore, I'm not sorry. Not, I get myself worse than anybody else. You gotta laugh at it, man, because if you don't, you'll cry. If I get to choose between the two, I'm gonna laugh. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. This is where it's a predicament. I took it personally. I'm sure he did too. We both took things personally. You know, I'll acknowledge that. Things were said. Words were exchanged. This is the part where Heather brings me like a small snack so that I don't ruminate and perseverate. Nah, sometimes I'm just sorry too. Sometimes it takes me a while to get there, and I say stupid stuff before that point. But that happens. Yeah. Trying not to, man, but whatever. I gotta try to laugh it off, man, you know. Yeah, she got to check my blood sugar level, make sure that, you know, everything's on the up and up, man, you know. It's hypoglycemia, probably. I need something, you know, some sugar in there. We'll say that's what it is. Sometimes it definitely came off as mean spirited. When I reread it, I was like, yeah, that's just kind of mean, and I didn't mean it that way. Though the same person has made jokes about me in relation to or in context to me, and I can't even say it on here. Like the joke was something that I had gawked back against, was shocked. But you know, some people forget things easily. Talk about the small leather pouches. So I'm making small leather pouches. That's all I have to say about those. Thank you for the 77 likes, everybody. Appreciate you being here and watching my channel. I know it's exciting and awesome. That's why we do this channel, because it's awesome. And we like doing stuff and making stuff and talking to our audience and reading the chat. So boom, we're getting there. I'm gonna take these edges. I think I can get this axe head on this by the end of the live. I'm not trying to push, but I'm not gonna say it's finished because I got to make a wedge and do a couple other things to it. But I think I can position the axe head on here by the end of this, in the next couple minutes. And yes, I will be doing some leather work on this channel too. All about the skill tree, man. We're all about the skill tree here. Yep. I was practicing my stitching yesterday, so I'm prepared to. I didn't want to get on here and really fumble through stitching stuff. I've got the leather pony, you know, to put up on my workbench. Ron made one himself. I have the clamps in here to kind of make one. Maybe we make a video no, we don't make a video. Long form videos don't pay. I think I'm done with those. I made one though, by the way. Heather can put the link in here. But yeah, we made a long form video about the experience over the last couple months of tanning leather, blah 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 blah, and you know, we took some time and all of that. So if you haven't had the chance to look at that video yet, take a look at that. I think it has 45 views, so I think 12 subscribers or members watched it. So we're crushing with that video right now. I have more views in 1 minute here than I have on that video. Oh man, it is getting close. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. So make sure I get the front here. I don't want to do anything too drastic here, but what I am gonna do is like take. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a little tiny bit from here, little tiny bit from here. Then I need to see how much I got. I don't want to rip cut or go down the grain, because that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make one cut with the saw, then go down the grain. So first thing I want to do though is shape the back properly. It's like more of a rounded square. It needs to be more of an elliptical shape. I'm trying to fit that properly on there. So I'm going to take my chisel and kind of work that back here a little bit more into an elliptical shape. Yeah, so it's not very much off the front that we need to take. That's what I wanted to see. Like, how much do I really have to take off the front? Now that I've got the shape mimic there, it's really a very small area, and I don't think I am going to do it that way. I think I know I got to do this while my brain's wrapped around it. It's just a smidge right here. Maybe that much. I'll call it that much. And that's kind of like a stop cut because that's what I'm going to go down to. But I'm going to be real gentle here. I don't want to overdo it. Same thing. This needs to be more of an elliptical shape. Ellipsis, ellipse, oval. An oval, man. It's an oval. I'm going to do a little bit more there and we're going to try it. So like I said, it's fluted or tapered from the top down. So it's going to look real too small for this thing once I get it on. It's going to have to be wedged, right? And I think it's going to be wedged like front to back. I forget what they call that type of saw grain. Well, against the grain, that direction has a specific name. But we're so close to that right now, and I want to make sure I don't even. You can even actually sit it on here almost. I'm going to take one more sweep at it, basically pass with the chisel here. It's going to be where I can almost place it on. It's going to take the real small amounts here. I almost could do this with a file, I think. I don't want to take much because I'm already losing wood, right? So since the top of the axe head is bigger here on the top, and this is the top, right, based on the way the blade is shaped, and the bottom is smaller, I don't want to take any more material than I need here because it's going to make wedging it more difficult. Let's get the files out, man. This is when you activate file or rasp mode here. We've been doing all kinds of stuff on Dad's workshop. I made bone buttons the other day. Well, not bone, but antler buttons. But I also did bone buttons off the air. So I made buttons out of deer bones, buttons out of antlers, and we're going to use those in crafts. Stay tuned, man. Become a subscriber. Become a member to Dad's workshop. Probably going to lose a member soon, so I need somebody in there. I need somebody to come in and be a member and stay a member. But if you can't do that, I understand. Do subscribe to the channel. That would be nice too. Yep, we're gonna get it. And I will go to the sandpaper, like, because I don't want to take any, like I say, any more material off of this than I have to here. Ricker. Welcome, Ricker. Member Ricker, welcome. Glad to have Ricker here today. Members only chat today at Dad's Workshop. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks to all my members. I'm always appreciative of y'all. Definitely check out my long form video about my last couple months and tanning experiences I've had. I'm almost ready to like force this on, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take down this bottom just a little bit. I think maybe just a smidge. I'm gonna pair it with the chisel, I think, and we're going to and then I'm gonna try to put this thing on. So let's do this last bit of chiseling, paring away here. The problem is I don't want to go past that spot. Maybe I'll chisel upward here. Change my mind. Problem is where I want to chisel is down here, and I'm not going to get the Wes makes a really good handle and wedge. Like they always look perfect. It's not going to look like that. Mine is not going to look perfect like that. It's going to look wedged and like stuck on there like a dude did it probably. Wes is good at like it looks clean and everything. There's no tolerance. Like there's no gaps in there at all. That will not be how this looks. There will be gaps. This guy told me only use push strokes with the file. I don't know if the guy knows what he's talking about, but I did kind of notice I like it. I like the way it works like that. So y'all will notice my file, I do mostly push strokes, and then I always empty the file out because it doesn't have the same bite if you don't. I'm trying to get some of this meat off the bottom of this, basically this joint, because what it is a joint, a non-mechanical joint. You're using friction. It's a friction bond. Is that what they call it? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Friction bond. Yep, working on the hawk handle. And by the way, Ricker got not right. So I made another one out of ash here. What I'm working on is that piece now. And now I'm about ready to try to almost force that on. Now I got to think about this before I do it. If I get it on there, I have to be able to take it off because I got to drill a hole down here and put a wedge in there, and then I cut a little bit through the top and whatnot to put a wedge in there. So I think probably it needs just a little hair more material taken off. I'm trying to think of the best way I can do this. It really just not a lot, and it kind of get what's. Ricker, I'm about to start doing leather work on here. So I learned how to, I learned the saddle stitch yesterday. I was practicing my saddle stitch, making leather pouches out of my own leather. Remember you were talking about learning new skills every month of the year. It inspired me. Yes, Ava, my burns are, they come back when I'm handling stuff that's probably, acidic or caustic. So there are times where the burns bother me again, but yeah, for the most part they've gone away. They've stopped becoming inflamed. I was close to having to go to a doctor, man. It was tough. Shout out to everybody in here. Appreciate everybody being here. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. We're making a tomahawk or axe handle right here for this hand forged tomahawk made out of spring steel that homemade by Ron made me. So glad you're here. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Hope everybody's having a restful holiday. And getting in what they think they need to get in today. Whatever it is for your mental health and wellness that you need to get in today before you go back to the grind, and you do that. You know what I mean? What do they call that wheel that Conan worked on? Thank you, Wes. Thank you. Wes says, glad you're healing up. Appreciate that. Yeah, I was kind of messed, man. My arms were just a mess. They're poison ivy itchy all day, and sorry, people trying to call me. I'm only putting pressure down on the push stroke. We'll shape the rest of the handle beautifully once we get there, and it'll be a lot like this process without the need for exactitude, if that makes sense. Thank you for coming to Dad's Workshop. Check out my videos. We got long form videos, and so I do a back stitch, which is kind of like a lock stitch to start it or end it on the little leather pouches that I'm making for the Outer Banks. Like we got this lady that takes our products in her store on the Outer Banks. So we're gonna make some like little charms out of the leather and things like that. Make sure I got the axe at a correct angle here. Oh, whoa! Good thing it's spring steel, right? My goodness. So that's the good thing about spring steel is it can take a hit. It's really tough, but I don't like dropping it on the floor like that. Made my heart rush right there when that happened. All right, I am gonna try to. I might try to hammer it a little bit here. I don't know what the book says on this. I don't do a lot of handles. Let's use another piece of wood that's not like a usable. Oh, I got my angle of rungs on here, 15 degrees. This is when I made the bed. Check out my bed videos if you're interested. Here, maybe the way to do this is like not to be dumb about it. Put it down on the surface here and like hammer down into it. Oh yeah, that ain't bad. So I don't know if I want to take it any more than that, but you see, it is going on. What I want to do is I still want to manipulate the handle more, but I think it's going to work. And then we'll take some of this material out here so it's more graceful along the edge. Thank you, Abe. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Tap the handle from the bottom. Yeah, I don't do a lot of handles, man. Thank you, Wes. Um, uh, yeah, yep, you can even, yeah, so now I've got it kind of started and I like the way the contour is under there. And I'm going to have to wedge it. I'm looking at it. See how much gap there is in there? And there's nothing I can do about that because it's actually fluted upward, the axe head. And I know Ron did that so that you can wedge it and so it holds on. It totally makes sense. I bet if I took this axe head off, it would look like that too. But what I don't want to do is end up with this thing stuck on here where I can't put a wedge on, right? And it may be hard to get off already. Like I'm gonna have to probably use something to punch it off. No, I got it. So I want to make sure that I leave myself like enough, what do you call it, uh, room to work. Like I got to take it off so I can put this. I got to cut through here. I got to put a little hole here. I got to put a wedge in there, and then it's got to get all the way down the head. So I want to be able to work it away from this metal. I don't want to put my chisels anywhere near that metal. I'm gonna work it a little bit more today. I got pretty good numbers right now, so I'm not gonna turn off right now. But let me work this just a little smidge more, maybe with the files a bit. Now I'll start to work the handle a little bit. I don't know what kind of battery I got on my recording device over there. And then the trickier one is actually going to be making a handle for this chisel with this tang because I don't know. I've never done a mechanical bond. I have some epoxy, but generally with these tangs, if I'm going to do a piece, and I'm looking at my chisels, they got a ring on them. I guess it could be done with like a drill press or a mortise press. But two piece like a mechanical bond with a rivet is probably what you want. I don't know. Have to think about it a little bit. We're just gonna shape this, and I can shape this more on my next live too. We'll be back tomorrow. You know, there is God willing, and then I live till tomorrow. We've never guaranteed anything, and that's the truth and no joke. But God willing, I'm here tomorrow. We'll continue on this thing. You know what I mean? Was gonna do it yesterday, so got started on my first skill. What's your first skill? I'm just gonna get these edges real quick while we're still here. While I got you, just so it's not as much of a bear. Hey, we love everybody at Dad's Workshop. Pilato, I'm sorry, man. I mean to upset you. Hopefully, you're in the gallery just ruminating and angry at me. It's all right, man. I know what I said sounded a little mean spirited. And I know Heather told me shut up about it, but I do want to make one final apology. Pilato, hard hands, buddy. I'm sorry. And that's real, like for anything I've done, man. You know, Wes knows I say and do stupid things. Like I got diarrhea of the mouth, and I sometimes step on the line. So apologize for that, man. Like, I'm worth it, man. Give me a chance. I promise. Give me a chance. What's this skill? Jewelry casting. Wow. Yeah, that is. That's one I gotta watch. I gotta be watching Ricker's channel, man. Everybody check out Ricker's channel and Woodshed by Dan and Wes and all of the members that came today. They all have channels. Woodshed by Dan. Everybody has an awesome channel, so check out their channels too. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop where you are right now. We do lots of different things here, but right now we're doing beautiful woodworking, which is one of my favorite things to do in the shop, as people know. Um, I'm very, very, and I have videos where I talk about how satisfying it is to me to chisel and work wood by hand, and I use some power tools. But the most fun is when we've got real sharp hand tools, and everybody knows this, and you're able to work effectively with those hand tools. It's very, very satisfying. Yep, always got to be affordable. We don't need to buy stuff we don't need to buy. We don't need to buy. That's kind of what the whole tanning thing is, because a lot of people take a hide and then they go buy these chemicals in a bottle, and you probably could, most of the stuff is stuff you could get off of Amazon or from a grocery store now. Tanning from a bottle is probably out of date, just like any kind of thing that we know the process for now. That's we can Google the process for. Like, so back in the day, you know, you couldn't just go online and say what chemicals are used to maintain the fur on a hide, right? Now you can, and so since you know those things, you don't need to go to your taxidermist and have them order something out of a bottle. Though, if you're Oak Ridge taxidermist, shout out Oak Ridge. Go to Oak Ridge, and if you have a taxidermist and they're reliable and good like Oak Ridge, that's the right thing to do. I'm not trying to take away people's business. Yeah, you know, we got businesses on here. I got to make sure I keep in that. So I'm not against taxidermy because they have tricks of the trade too. Taxidermists do things that are pretty amazing pretty frequently. Heather and I were talking about how you know, full. See how that took that whole chip off on the end right there? That's blowout bad, but it's all right. It'll survive that. It didn't come off of the since we had that stop cut. It didn't come off of the mallet head or the hatchet head. Yeah, we're talking about how it is amazing these forms, and a full cape, a full deer or lion or something like that is a pretty impressive thing to see done. At Ricker Creations, man, Ricker Creations. Ricker's doing stuff. Wes is doing stuff. Actually, that's his channel's name. Wes Does It. So all of these folks, Woodshed by Dan, lots of channels here. Lots of channels. Check them all out and double tap that screen and like this video, because Dad's Workshop is about to roll out. This hatchet head's gonna be, I'm gonna take this material in here like that. Gonna get taken in like that so that we got a nice graceful curve here. It should still be very strong since we got the grain, and this is ash. And we know that the axe head goes on now, so now it's all about just getting this thing to the right uh, dimensions. And thank you to Ron for this beautiful axe head, and thank you to Wes for the beautiful knife, which I will be making a short very shortly about. Look at how shiny that steel is, man. See that? Thank you to all of those cool things that make people want to watch the channel. See, people want to watch the channel when you guys' tools pop up. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Calvin. Don't be like me and say mean things. Do the next right thing, not the next wrong thing. See, I have to tell myself that sometimes. Sorry, Pilato. Pull out. Okay, Cedar Grow. Yeah, we need to find you a girl, man. We need to. This is getting out of control. But yeah, do the right thing, and that's not pull out. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Get me in trouble out here. Hey, who put the 99? Oh, that was a gift from Carrie early. Shout out to Carrie. Thank you, Carrie, for that gift earlier on. Appreciate everybody. Love y'all. Do the next right thing. This is Dad's Workshop. Take care. Cedar, be good. Bye.